time. Who are we missing? Taro. He's got a pretty good town going here. A little bit of a work in progress. And underneath this is still the crypts with the hundreds of undead. It's pretty nice having a personal army. One of the fringe benefits of being like the only paladin of a dead god. You got your guards to handle silt runners.
How did we end the last session?
Yeah, we're on this board. I think we were looking at Ringsight's town that he was working on.
Wasn't he like trying to deal with the gold?
Yeah.
And all that stuff?
They basically are imposing a tax on him, and he needs to pay them.
Bring that tree. If we burn down that tree, there's no taxes to pay, you know?
Sure. Well, that was more of a long-term thing. Like, the Gulg War Party, they just came to drop off the message, and then they left, so there's not a battle to be had or anything. But at some point in the future, if the tribute isn't paid to Gulg, they'll probably send an army at him.
Or we could have started one immediately and just be like, we're gonna attack the envoy, the messenger, this is Sparta!
Yeah.
Kidnap them, strip them, and then hunt them in the woods.
Well, if Tara was here, he could determine what sort of strategy he wants to use, but he's probably going to ask, what are we doing again?
Probably not my strategy.
Diplomacy is the strategy.
Usually, yeah.
Although I don't know if being extorted is part of diplomacy.
They weren't asking for a whole lot. I think they wanted him to catch some snakes. That was the hardest part. The Gilgan Templar Mother Zungari.
I mean, even if I asked you for a penny, like, every few weeks, and I said if you don't, there will be war, that's still kind of extortion, even if mildly so.
Alright, so the Oba of Gulg demands 50 swords, 10 vials of poison, and 3 offerings of song, like bardic song, in tribute to Gulg. Offerings of song and shadow to be chosen by our diviners. Yeah, that usually has to do with bards. Song and shadow.
It's always going to be working for the closing.
How does that song go? A mist and shadow.
Oh, I don't know.
The one that he sang to Denethor, Lord of the Rings.
So what's that going to cost? Like 15 gold? That's not that much. You're all so rich. Can't pay a 15 gold tax to keep the Gulgan Templars off your back? What's that? That's like 1% of a day's loot. I get it though. It's the principle, right? Nobody likes Gulg.
Everybody likes gold, nobody likes taxes. Except for Stoker.
Well, If Taro's not going to hurry up, I could pack this into a bag and we could do the other thing I had planned. I think we pretty much covered this last time.
Are we still going on like side things, or is it? Are we going to? Where are we going to? The deadlines at some point, or not yet?
You can. That's sort of I don't know if you've ever played any of the Final Fantasy games. There's always like the extra boss that's just ridiculous and is hiding in a cave somewhere, and you don't have to fight it, but if you do, it's a real challenge. That's sort of the Deadlands.
I thought the Deadlands was integral to I'm forgetting the dragon's boss's name.
Well, but he's not going out to get him. He wants to have those powers. We killed we destroyed his undead controlling orb.
Right. He could have used the Deadlands to take over the world if he still had his orb. He'll have to repair the orb, and he'd have to get to the Deadlands, and there's a lot of intervening space controlled by a lot of other Sorcerer Kings. Alright. Let's see here.
I thought it took like all the Sorcerer Kings to stop him. They're all kind of divided now, doing their own thing. I don't think them being in between, like a few of them, is going to bother him much.
Maybe.
What's the talk of the town, lads?
Hey, hey.
Golg is now extorting you for tribute. Or
Oh. Right. Did I collect their nonsense?
So, I just thought about it. It's going to cost 15 gold. To gather the resources, you need a bunch of snake venom, you need 50 swords, and you need to hire some bards to sing the praises of Gulg within your territory so that your people know that they are within Golgan land and who the real boss is, the Oba of Gulg, Lalali Pui.
Right.
As long as
I
you...
mean, it's more the principle of the thing, really.
As long as you meet those few requirements, then the generous lady, the Oba of Gulg, will leave your pathetic little lands in peace. Otherwise, the armies of Gulg will besiege you and take what you have not given.
I don't sing, and what are they gonna frickin' do then?
Yeah, maybe they have spies that are watching you. Who knows? You do have a whole lot of pilgrims that you haven't vetted carefully. Are you going to spy on all their brains? Look into all their minds to make sure?
No. Hmm. Alright. Wait, what kind of song? Wait, no, better question. What's the Oba of Golg about again? They're the tree person?
Yeah, she lives in a giant tree. She is basically a god. Her culture is based on sort of South African ancient cultures. Pretty interesting history there. There was like one African king had like a ridiculous amount of gold at one point. It's like, so her empire is like that, and she lives in a big giant magic tree that's immune to everything, which makes her pretty hard to kill. And
she is the late tree one. Does that mean that she's good at making food?
yeah. Well, there's a big forest, the Crescent Forest, attached to her land, so there's a decent amount of fruits and vegetables and grains and things that you can't find elsewhere.
I have a plan.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, I collect the supplies and junk. Wait, how often do we need to do this?
That's just it. You don't know. You don't know how long this will keep them off your back, and you don't know if she'll have other demands in the future.
Alright, well, we'll see about it for now.
You're just going to pay the 15 gold?
Yeah, keep my options open.
Okay. Diplomacy. So the The items will be procured, and when the Templars of Gulg return to collect the tax and to see your bardic performance, then they will be satisfied and return to Gulg to report that you are amenable to what the Oba has demanded.
Okay. I make a request after that happens.
Yeah, but let's move on to other things and wait until some passage of time. They have to travel back to Gulg. They have to report that they've done their task, and it's going to take some time for your people to gather the materials through trade.
Darn it.
All right, so let's set the scene. A new adventure begins. Korganard requests that you all meet him at the apex of the pyramid, where he's deep in meditation, levitating in the air. Let me know when you're all there with Korganard. And not AFK. Alright. Korganard tells you that I have received a message from Kern, a place far to the north, a distant land where I actually came from originally. I've received this message from my mentor, and my mentor says that he's interested in trade with Tyr, and would like me and envoys of Tyr to travel to Kern and to meet with him. And so I would like to travel with you in your glorious new airship, this battleship you have crafted, which will carry us swiftly to the location of our meeting in the distant north. It would be a dangerous and difficult trek by other means, and also quite an expensive one. So I would be deeply in your debt if you would help me with this task.
Is your mentor also a angelic being such as yourself?
He smiles knowingly, but says, "We mustn't speak of these things openly. You must meet my mentor first, and then we will speak of these things at the proper time."
Understood. Is there anything else anybody needs to do in preparation before we leave?
You're going to want to stock a lot of food and water. Does the new airship have anything in its cargo hold?
Is the other airship also being operated simultaneously while we're doing other stuff in this ship?
It can be.
Like, is it doing like caravan stuff on its own, or is it just following us everywhere while we're in the warship?
The problem is you were doing a bunch of jobs on that ship. Grimorn is the pilot, Taro is the first mate, Morg is the navigator. Taurus technically has a job on the ship as the weapon master. So to get that ship operational, you'd probably need to hire a few new people to fill in those roles, and then you could send it on a mission. A ship with no...
That's kind of what happened when we got new roles on the other ship.
Now, you're filling those roles on the other ship, but we didn't get people to fill the new roles on that first ship. You've got a few people. You've got a fire cleric captain that Grimorn put on there, and you picked up Heliod of Apotex, a third-level air cleric. You've got some siege weapon operators. That's useful.
We moved all the siege weapons to the new ship, right?
I think you bought new ones from the same people that made the previous ones. You hired a crew, 22 additional people. You got some carpenters, a blacksmith, a blacksmith's apprentice, 4 people for a little boarding party, a couple mole gladiators, a couple cooks, Scion, and Morg brought his high-level, 5th-level druid on board to help out. So 22 people. They're going to need 44 pounds of food per day. And if you're only traveling during the cooler parts of the day and during the night, then you would need 22 gallons of water. If you'd like to travel during the hotter parts of the day, it would be 44 gallons of water that you're going to need every day. So you're going to want tons of water, 200 gallons.
Basically, the entire hold full of food and water.
Yeah, approximately how much, like, how long does it take to travel by airship to... Well, I guess no one would really know since it's, like, airships or anything.
It depends.
So how long does the journey normally take?
There's some calculation involved. I've been putting some thought into it and running some numbers through Grok AI. Basically, we need to see if you can cast control winds for 12 hours a day. How many spell slots do you all have, and can you cast control winds for 12 hours a day? The spell, each time you cast it, lasts for 1 hour. So we need 12 castings per day out of the party. Otherwise, you're at the mercy of the wind.
Specifically control winds?
Yes, control winds, which is 5th level, I believe.
I could do that like 4 times a day.
So he's covering a third of a day's travel there. You've got 8 other hours.
Like 5.
5, all right. 5 is good.
If I'm using all my higher level slots as well, I can do 6.
5 and 6 is 11. Oh, if we could get one more. Don't you have a magic item that does it?
Do I?
Taro, I'm pretty sure you have a magic item that can do control winds at least once a day.
No, the carpet can, I think. Wait, eh?
Check your sheet. Control F. Find that.
I'm looking.
You also just use control weather.
Control weather. Let me look.
Control weather is the 8th level spell that controls the weather for 5 miles around you for around 8 hours.
The carpet causes, like, the carpet does the thing. It just isn't. There's no known way to recharge it.
Gotcha.
You control the weather within 5 miles.
Yeah, it looks like that would be a good one. That'll cover 8 hours each casting.
You can change the precipitation temperature and wind. It takes 1d4, just 10 minutes. Oh, times 10 minutes for the new condition to take effect. Once they do so, you can change the conditions again when the spell ends.
Alright, so that's going to be extremely useful on the trip. Because, you know, there are often dust storms. The weather is fickle in the Dark Sun world, and an airship is going to be somewhat at the mercy of wind direction.
Oh, yes, it even specifies when you change the wind, you can also change its direction. So you change the strength of the wind and the direction.
Yeah, that one's probably even better than control winds because it lasts 8 hours when that other one only lasts 1 hour per casting.
Which spell?
Control weather, but it's an 8th level spell.
Yeah, we had Sol used to use that for us. We had the
The
magic ones.
casting time itself takes 10 minutes, and then for it to even take effect on the weather, it takes another...
Up to
1
40
times
minutes.
10 minutes. So it takes a while. So it
Yeah.
can take up to 50 minutes for it to do something.
Might add almost a whole extra hour to your trip. But that's not bad, considering otherwise the winds could blow you off course badly. Alright, so I think we're good on that. So then we just need to look at the items that are available in tier and see what you guys can buy to supply your ship so that everybody can eat and drink.
other services.
Alright, so I'm looking at the edible tab. There's a whole lot of food available in tier. Let's see, let me look at the trade tab for tier prices, actually. That's probably more useful. So I'll just go down the list of available things. We got ale, amber, armor, beer, bronze, candy, ceramics, chalk, chitin, cider, cinnabar, cloth of several types. I'll stop there. So, wind-powered craft, sail-powered craft might get damaged sails. You might want to stock a certain amount of cloth in order to repair your sails. I would also say a ship made of wood, if it gets damaged, you might need wooden beams, nails, things of that sort. So you have some carpenters on board. They're going to need the materials to do the job when they're out there. They just bring the tools. They don't bring any of the stuff. So in case your ship takes damage in combat or whatever, you might want to think about, wood, cloth, rope. Rope is another one you'll want to buy. All the rigging requires rope, and if it gets burned or something, most of you have the ability to control fire and put out flames and stuff, so that's unlikely. But if a fireball goes off, it could still damage stuff a lot. Especially if it's outside of the range of your cleric's ability to negate the fire damage.
Lord, this is your ship. Why have you not fireproofed it?
It's heavily reinforced, for sure, but there's only so much you can do. Alright, so what kind of... Well, first of all, who's got money? Who wants to pay for any of this stuff? Nobody's jumped forward to be the person procuring the materials. Are you all broke? That was fast.
Supposedly, I was supposed to be spending money on. Someone said they were trying to elect me to spend a large, pretty much all my gold on some castle thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I don't remember what that was for. I think I at least did get my spending in for the stuff that I was trying to buy earlier. But,
Yeah, yeah.
oh yeah, I said that I was spending 108 diamonds and a little bit of other stuff, which I did already mark off my sheet. I don't know how much time we spent doing the downtime stuff with all the gold and everything for my enchantment and those items to be finished if I have them at this point.
Yeah, I was just gonna say during the downtime all that stuff finished.
Okay. We took a whole year off, pretty much a whole year off, right?
I think it was 400 days for all the construction to get done.
Okay, yeah, then now we have our new wall in front of here as well.
Yep. You went to work. You built all sorts of giant stone walls everywhere, fortifying everything in the front.
But if we, I don't know, if we do still need stuff for the ship, I do have 513 diamonds in extra.
500 diamonds, oh my god.
Yeah, each 10 each diamond. So, I don't know how much of this stuff we need, like wood and everything. Do you think 100 gold worth of each thing, like rope, wood, and stuff is good enough?
Probably.
Yeah. 100 gold worth of barrels of food, 100 gold worth of barrels of water, 100 gold worth of wood.
Oh, hold on. Water isn't that expensive. Hold on. Let me. So, 1 ton of water is 20 ceramic pieces.
Oh, that's easy. What is tons of water in gallons?
200.
How much, do we need, money-wise?
200 gallons for 20 ceramic pieces.
What do we need? Like, just like need replacement part material and stuff like that.
Well, we're trying to supply your airship, which hasn't really been filled with food and water for the crew. I figured out how much it's going to require. You got 22 people that you just hired. They need 44 pounds of food each day. They need 22 gallons of water per day if you're traveling at night, or 44 if you're traveling during the day, because it's really hot, like 150 degrees.
So is 400 gallons of water good enough then for a while? I don't know. Are there any like pit stop areas, Corganard? Are there good spots we can stop along the way, or is it we just need enough stuff to go there all the way in one go?
Corganard likes the idea of stopping in locations along the route, because he made the pilgrimage to Uruk all those years ago, and he hasn't been back to those places in some time, and he would like to visit them.
Do they ever cost though?
Some of them. We're a powerful party,
How
though.
much money do we need, Ninja?
We're
I'll
calculating.
Just go ahead and grab 2 tons of water, so I'll just spend 40 ceramic on that, and then I don't know what else we need for the food. How much is left for food for like, 400 pounds of food for like 10 days of travel, I guess. Or
Okay.
40 pounds.
So, rope, you can get hemp or silk rope. Do you want to get the good rope or the regular rope? Alright, so good rope is 5 ceramic pieces each.
Those ropes are just measured in like what, 50-foot ropes or something?
Yeah, 50-foot ropes, but we'll just say like one rigging repair is like one rope.
I guess I'll just grab 20 of the good rope. How much is that?
How many?
20 of the good ropes.
20 times 5, 100? 1 gold?
Okay. 1 gold.
Okay, made a note of that. We got 2 tons of water, that was 40 ceramic pieces, and then 1 gold for the rope, and then cloth for canvas. So cloth comes in common, fine, or rich. So let's see. Rich is 10 ceramic pieces. Fine is 50 ceramic pieces. Common is 14 ceramic pieces. So rich is like below common. I think common is what you probably want to get, because fine is just like for fancy clothing. You don't need that for... Yeah. So 14 ceramic pieces per repair on your sails.
So that's what, 70 ceramic pieces?
Yeah, 70 CP. Alright, so not very expensive there. It gets more expensive when you get into food. So, let's see.
Okay, I took off the money for the cloth.
Oh, I'm going to assume you guys are going to want to travel during the night, because it's exhausting traveling during the day, because it's really, really hot. It'd be hard to work in that. So if you're traveling at night, you're going to need torches, maybe. So do you want to get a bunch of oil lamps?
Yeah.
Alright. So you'll need probably, I don't know, 10 or 20 of them, depending on the size of your crew. What do you think?
We need to transform this ship into some sort of a
I'd say, yeah, 20 has good redundancy in case you break a bunch of them. Okay, so 20 oil lamps, they're 0.1 ceramic piece each. So we're looking at like 2 ceramic pieces. That's cheap.
Okay, that's taken care of.
Alright, so then I'm going to go to the edibles tab. Alright, so what kind of food do you want to feed your crew? The edible tab is sort of broken down into meats, veggies, rare meats. Those are the expensive ones. We got eggs and globules. Hey, Will, are you here?
Yeah.
Will, you happen to have a lot of globules in your possession. Do you want to stock the ship with a certain amount of Kank globules?
Can we grab some of your globules?
Only if you ask nicely.
We need some of your juicy globules.
Please, Oren, donate your juicy globules. Let us feast on it.
Well, I'm feeling excited. No, but I don't need that much in the way of food because of my medic backpack that
It's more for the crew.
So, imagine the crew of the airship could eat 44 of your Kank globules per day, and this could be a week-long trip. Who knows?
So absolutely, I should be able to put some of that at least.
All right.
To,
Throw a number at me. How many of your globules do you collect for the trip?
Hey, can we like carry a couple animals too that we can just like kill as we go?
I heard 100. Yeah, you can put animals in your hold for sure.
Yeah, we'll put like a couple cow that we can just like chop apart.
Like you can get meat, but having the whole animal is good.
Might be able to get some fresh globules.
Well, there's a question for Will if he wants to bring entire Kanks on board, they would produce globules on the daily.
I think that's possible.
But then you'd have to bring a bunch of feed for them.
True.
The kinks eat what?
You could get them wheat, which would be 2 ceramic pieces per pound, and the Kank can eat 4 pounds per day. So that's 8 ceramic pieces per Kank per day.
Is it cost effective for us to bring the kinks with?
Yeah, the Kank globule feeds a man for a day, so that's pretty good.
Okay.
Can bring a bunch of salt and meat too, you know. Herbs.
And you can
Just get,
you can't eat the Kank though, so that's the downside. You might want to buy other animals.
Like I was thinking of buying a mixture of like you can't just have like one type of thing. You can't just only eat meat or whatever. Just buy an assortment of meats and veggies and not like the fine stuff, just normal stuff and aggregate.
So you can buy an erdlu. It's like an oversized desert chicken, or an ostrich maybe. So 5 ceramic pieces for an erdlu, and you could put a bunch of those in your hold. If you want that meat diet, maybe wheat
100
for
pounds
feed.
of grain, 100 pounds of meat, 100 pounds of veggies. How much is that?
Adding notes. Veggies times 100. Alright, so the erdlu was 5 ceramic pieces each. How many of those do you want?
You want to fight for you?
Times 5. It's 25 CP. Cheap. Then just somebody has to butcher one every once in a while, and you'll get enough meat to feed the whole crew for a day, probably.
I took off 25 ceramic for the earlies.
And when you're doing the erdlu butchering, if you buy a bunch of salt, you could preserve some of the meat. Some of it would get wasted if it rots over a few days, if it doesn't get consumed.
I mean, we have like 20 something people on crew.
Yeah, all right. Fair enough. So veggie, kind of veggie we got here. Do you want what's cost effective here? You can get cactus for a ceramic piece per pound. So that'd be like 1 gold for your veg.
And maybe the Kanks would like that too. Probably live on cactus in the wild.
Alright, so wheat. How much was wheat? Wheat was 2 ceramic pieces. That's 2 gold for the wheat.
Tara, were you trying to say something?
Yeah, we're not hearing you. There's just occasional beeps.
I was just kind of loose humming days.
I have to stand up for a minute. My legs are falling asleep. I was resting on them. Alright, so you stock your ship. You spend probably most of the morning loading everything onto your airship, and as the sun begins to set and the intense heat ripples diminish, it gets to around, like twilight. The sky is turning a deep orange, and everything is loaded onto your ship, and the crew is ready to go on their maiden voyage. Does anybody need anything else in tier before you embark on this this side quest?
Is it possible for me to do my rolls for looking for the item?
Yeah.
The magical book.
Sure. All right. Let me go to my notes here.
Am
So,
am I allowed like guidance and stuff like that?
nah. Each week you can spend 1 gold crown and roll a charisma persuasion check to find a seller. For each extra GP spent, add +1 up to a max of +10. The DC is quite difficult. This is a rare magic item, and finding somebody who knows somebody who might be able to procure it will be a difficult task. You know what? I take it back. You can use your spell. Go ahead.
Use the guidance.
Yeah.
How many of these rolls can I make?
This is a week of trying to find the magic item. So every time you roll, it's going to cost you a week.
During the downtime, or
Correct.
do,
Tara, less humming, please. Or at least, point your mic away from your mouth when you do it.
I'm gonna spend 25 gold for 5 weeks.
Wow,
Plus five?
that is a lot.
So what is that? That's 5 weeks at 5 gold per day. So that's going to give you a +4.
Yeah, that's what happens when you have shit charisma. Oh, 22.
22. Unfortunately, after the first week of search, you do not find the magic item. You actually need a 25 on this one.
Oh, fuck. Probably not gonna get it.
Yeah, week 2, no luck.
Or, I guess. Come on.
Not consistent with this in some way.
13. If somebody wants to spend a gold to hire a bard to throw a bardic inspiration at him, that might help.
Hold on. It's my
He could also boost his roll by spending more gold. He's only doing a +4. He could spend an extra 6 gold to hit the max.
Yeah, but I can't do that after the fact, you know?
No, it would be on the next roll.
How much would it cost me to pay for bardic inspiration for each one of those?
You can hire a bard for 1 gold per day. And he'll...
But for each one of them, I'll spend 5 gold, and I'll put a roll on, okay? After I'm done the 5.
Alright. These are probably like D8 on their bardic inspiration.
23. Oh, so a D8, so in the same order, okay? In the same order, like the way they show, will be like the first one will be for week 1.
I don't know if I want to do it retroactively, though, because what if you got it on week 1? Why would there be 3 other rolls? You've already spent the money.
Oh,
You had lots of weeks to do this, though, so burning another week isn't a big deal.
because I would have done it like from the start, you know?
We had 400 days of downtime, so you had plenty of weeks to throw at it. It's really
Yeah,
just
no,
a matter
just
of
don't-
money.
I just don't want to spend like extra gold if I don't need to. You know?
Yeah, let's see. What'd you get on the first one?
20, 22 plus 6, so 28.
All right.
Second one. This one, I think. That's 16. 25. And the last one. Ooh, that's a 30. And I will need to get
All right. Well, I don't like retroactive stuff, but let's just say it took you 3 days. We'll go with the average.
I'll spend the entire money that for all of these, okay? Like, I don't care because I already started.
No, it's because the bard thing would be an obvious thing to do, and it would have helped. It would have only taken you a few tries. Anyway, so you find somebody who is selling the book, but he is not willing to part with it unless you pay a hefty fee. So the book is going to cost 550 gold.
Oh man. Quite a lump sum. And what is this character? What kind of a profession is he in?
It is a wizard within the Veiled Alliance.
That's interesting. And would you be willing to trade for such item?
If you have something that a Veiled Alliance wizard would want, you could barter. Otherwise, 550 gold will do.
What about? Let me take a look at my bag. What about the hashes of the witch?
Lich ashes could be valuable.
And when are you going to find some? And where will you find
You just have the one?
Yeah. It's from the Queen of
The wizard considers your offer, but he says he would need 4 such items to be of any use to him.
such items.
With 4 Lich's ashes, he could combine it into an item. 1 is not enough.
Legendary power shield.
Well, now that you've found the person selling the book, and you know where they can be found, you don't have to buy it right now. You could wait until later, if you would like to build up some money for it.
I'll have to do that because that's a lot of gold.
I made a note that it's been found, so you don't have to search for it anymore. You just need to pay for it when you have the money.
I'm gonna have to. I have a lot of other type of material, but it's like 5 wishes, so I'm only gonna find 4 more.
Well, it takes 4 total, so you would need 3 more.
Oh, okay. Alright, maybe we'll do if we're lucky. Maybe in that zone down south, and then we'll find some wishes on there.
Yeah. Any Talese will do. So any defiler that has progressed in his defiling to the extent that they become practically an undead. You fought one of those Taleses in a sewer. You fought another one later.
Yeah.
So-
I might have some. I'll have to take a look at this.
So Lich Ash, Talese Ash, Vampire Ash, and Defiler Ash from a regular low-level Defiler. All of those things could possibly be interchangeable for the crafting of the item.
Okay.
Let's see, did you have other things? We're doing
Some more of those.
recruiting. We did that already. Alright, so I think we're good. The ship is fully loaded. You've got all the materials you need to travel.
Somebody else wait for the wood? Repairs?
Oh, did I forget wood? I forgot the wood.
We mentioned the cloth and the rope, but not the wood.
Times 100. Alright, let me check the wood price. Wood is going for... is it under lumber?
I really have to go through all my cards. So much shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to make sure I've got everything tallied up here.
It's ridiculous when you look at it. The codex is what you need to
Is all this stuff is going on, the inventory stuff, is going on
There
like
it is.
Excel sheet with code?
It is. For now. I need to make a nicer looking inventory page for it. Hardwood, 1 pound. Here it is. 50 ceramic pieces each. So we're talking, for 100 of them, that would get expensive. How much wood do you want to buy?
Is it just use one of those things per repair or for something? Is it,
Yeah, 1 per repair, probably.
yeah, then I guess just plenty of them is good.
Alright,
Out 20 times 50, you said?
that'll be 10 gold.
Okay. Take that for time. Okay, paid for it.
Alright. Alright, so you know that Dredge is 250 miles away. It's a little bit north and quite a ways east.
Wait, going back? I thought we were going to. No.
You're going to Kern, but Kern is north of Dredge. So to get there, you have to head to Dredge and then travel north from there. All right. So you board your airship and you set out. And you're flying off into the setting sun at the end of the day, and your crew is working hard, attending to the rigging, keeping lookout for any dangers in the skies. And you travel.
What does the weather conditions look like? Are they already favorable, or are they fighting against us?
Okay.
Well,
So day one, you've
good in
got
general, right?
you've got clear skies, and the winds are a light wind going about 9 miles per hour. The wind is coming from the northwest, and it's blowing to the southeast. And it actually doesn't add a significant tailwind boost, but it helps a little bit. So you make good progress for 12 hours on day one with no significant issues. I'm just going to roll for encounters here.
Use the before we had encounter anything, and then go ahead and use the control winds to. Is it? There's nothing on the chart that says light wind. Is that moderate wind? And then I can turn it into strong wind.
There's no benefit. Your airship has limited speed.
Oh, does it? Okay.
So you can hit it with stronger winds, but it'll just do damage instead of making you faster. Because there's there are limits on your rigging and your sails, and so like if you went full power with like a 50 mile per hour gust out of a control winds, it might just like rip your sail apart.
Okay.
But not if it was a consistent wind. If you're controlling it, you know, you can, I mean, the damage
Like-
changes. Like if it's a gust that comes all at once, that's when you take damage.
Yeah, I wasn't sure like what the condition is that it's like if it's light wind to strong wind, if that starts doing damage, because there's stronger wind than strong wind, and it turns to gale and then storm. I was
Oh,
thinking
yeah.
those ones would start damage.
There definitely will be damage if you get hit with a storm.
Yeah.
So that's a concern. But you have a tough ship. Like if I'm looking at the stats here for your dreadnought, you bought the full package. So you've got silk sails, which means it's fast, and they hold up better than the regular sails. You bought regular repair materials to patch, but you have the good sails on it. And it includes bottom sails, so it's got like the extra speed boost from that. The armor plating, which is going to hold up against like sandstorms, sandblasting the hull. And you've got rapid deploy, so if the winds are too bad, you can pull in all of those bottom sails and bring down the regular rigging so that it doesn't get damaged by the wind quicker than you would otherwise, because you've got that rapid deploy system. And that really helps a lot. Sturdy hull, that's mostly for direct impacts. Wooden plating, that's just hit points. So overall, a very tough ship. And on this first day of travel, you actually don't run into much issue. It seems like in the distance there's some creatures flying around, but they don't approach. So you're some flying winged creatures in the distance, but nobody got a good look and they didn't approach. They kept their distance from your airship because to a wild animal, your airship is going to look like a gigantic predator flying through the sky.
Mm.
All right, so you travel all through the dark of night and into the morning, and the sun begins to rise. And when the sun comes up, it starts to get really, really hot. And it's been a long night of travel, and your crew is tired. And so you should park the ship and rest during the hottest part of the day. And
Now,
so
when we do that, does the ship have the land to do that, or isn't that? How does that work?
you could drop anchor and just hang out.
Okay.
Or you can use control winds to still yourself, stay in place. There's a lot of ways. Or Morg also has control weather, which lasts 8 hours. That would be for an entire long rest. It would keep you right where you're at. Although it might take him 40 minutes to set it up. But who cares? You've got like 12 hours in there where you can't do much else. Do you want to do that, Morg?
Just to stay still?
Yeah, it's not really necessary today because the winds aren't bad.
Yeah, we're just gonna anchor the final field. Turn it a late spell.
Yeah. Okay. So, long rest, recovered spell slots, eating food. Alright, so we got 44 less Kank globules. What's that, 56 left?
Yeah.
Everybody on the ship eats a delicious Kank globule omelet. It's quite good.
So, well, I'm guessing 100 of these fits in a ton, like
The barrel?
a barrel.
Yeah, probably something like that. The ship has 25 tons of cargo space.
A globule would be like an ostrich egg, I'm guessing, in size. Or
Yeah, pretty much an ostrich egg, and that's your food for the day right there. 2 pounds of ostrich egg
That's
Okay.
with a honeyed flavor. All right, so day one, they eat a whole bunch of Kank globules, and I forgot to ask, how many Kanks did you load on the ship?
2?
All right,
Fit 2 on there? Is that going to be making sense?
all right, 2 Kanks. So you actually gain a couple Kank globules from that, so 56 becomes 58. And your 2 Kanks, they're going to eat 4 of your wheat.
right up.
96. Alright.
I'm going to go ahead and sleep some during the travel, so I can go ahead and be active a little bit during this time of the day. With regards to the kinks, are they active in the day or only at night? In nature.
During the day, they would probably hunker down, because it's super hot for everything. In a desert, most of the creatures, they'll crawl under a rock during the day, or hunker down and try not to burn energy.
Okay.
Yeah, I think on Athos, almost everything is going to be semi-nocturnal. I also imagine that would make a lot of creatures glow in the dark, too. Or a little bit incandescent.
So they can find each other for mating purposes.
Yeah, stuff like that. To show up in the dim light. Or not. Like, maybe they want to blend in for stealth.
Well,
Alright.
What I would like to do is just a little bit of when we land, I'll pick up some cactus or just hunt something.
Alright. If you want to make a survival check, you can see if you can find something during the rest.
Can I use stealth to give me advantage?
On a survival check, no. I mean, hunting cactus isn't hard. You just have to know where they're going to be at.
Cactus.
Some dice. Oh! Well, there we go. 30. Survival check.
Nice. All right.
That's about as high as I can get.
Four rations found. Pretty good for such a barren environment.
I come back with some kind of rats or something that I found a barrow under the sand.
I add it to your pile of veggies. You're now at 104 cactus. Alright, on to day 2. Oh yeah, for sure. Feel free to make a roll if you'd like. You have 8 hours. You can make a skill check.
Nature check to get food or something?
It is a wisdom survival to hunt and forage.
I'm gonna go look for like lizards and stuff under rocks.
Sure.
Yeah, that's 23.
23. You only find 2 lizards.
Okay. Yeah, good food.
Alright, lizard meat times 2. Yeah, they were the kind that has the big frill around the neck that runs and hisses. And
Oh yeah.
they're actually pretty aggressive, so they're easy to hunt. They just run at you, and you just grab them and snap the neck. Alright, so the next day. The next day you notice that the air is a little dusty. Alright, so your crew, they're native to Athos. They're aware of the dust. They're going to pull up scarves around their faces to protect themselves. Maybe they'll use a little bit of their water to wet down the cloth to block some of the silt that's trying to blow through the air so they can breathe all right. It's unpleasant, but yeah, typical Athos weather, dusty skies. The winds are actually fairly useful. It's a moderate wind coming out of the south, blowing to the north, which is good because that's kind of the direction you want to go. If you could change the direction to the east, that would help. If you want to cast a whole bunch of spells to reorient the direction of the wind. But a north...
It'd be good to attack into the wind, and then if we go straight north, then we can allow the natural winds of Athos to kind of carry us back east.
This is blowing you a little bit off course, but not bad. It's a useful wind today. It's a 19 mile per hour wind.
I'll throw out control winds and get us in the right direction. Or not control wind, control weather.
Control weather, alright. Roll that d4. How long does it take to get the wind in control?
With the casting time and also the 2D, the 2, then it takes half an hour for the weather to change to the right direction.
Alright. So, Morg is calling on the powers of nature, and over time, the dust in the air kind of gets out of your way. The grit goes down, and the wind starts to become a little more favorable in the direction you want to go. Alright, so that was mild inconvenience. Not too bad, day 2. You travel for the full 12 hours with the winds being favorable. It's kind of exhausting, using your druid powers for an 8-hour streak there. I imagine it uses a an 8th level spell slot. That's pretty big power you're calling on there.
It is also concentration period now, so yeah.
Yeah. Alright, so you're putting in as much work as the rest of the crew. And the crew appreciates the help, because otherwise they would be fighting through a dust storm. And their masks, they're not as good as a full dust storm mask. They're using the sort of half-baked, MacGyvered up, using some water and a rag trick. But it does the trick. It'll keep them from getting sick from a dust storm. But it's not as good. It's not like the automatic success.
With my leather working, can I help fashion something better while waiting on the ship?
I'm going to say that like a proper dust storm mask usually involves magic more than just like mechanical protection. Alright. So, good progress on day 2. Everybody on the crew is like, oh, we ate so many cankelobules. Can we eat some of the cactus instead? So, the crew's going to eat 44 cactus. That leaves 60 cactus left. Alright. Do you want to go hunting again? See if you can find some food in the wild.
Yes, I would. Although this time I'm gonna go ahead and instead of it's only second night. I don't need to go ahead and do a scouting mission that's following us. I'm gonna go ahead and just do the hunt. Strategy.
20. Let me check. The area you're in is kind of scarce, but a 20 is enough to find. What were you looking for?
Vegetation.
All right.
Yeah. Nope.
Okay.
I was so preoccupied. I was in that one. I was preoccupied with looking over my shoulder and making sure nothing's falling to the horizon. I don't find anything.
You find 3 Cabra melons. The Cabra melons are a decent size, and the flesh inside is quite tasty.
Fruity desserts. Nature's king.
Yeah, you can add a little variety to the food. I'm only marking off the food that the crew is eating, so if you guys want to use the ship's food, let me know, or if you're using your own rations, then mark those off.
It's already been 2 days, so I'll go back to those.
Everyone got that?
Yep. I'm good with my early loot.
Alright.
Eggs.
Alright. So,
He's quite good at omelets.
she's on the other ship, though. She's not with you, unless you wanted to bring her.
Oh, wait, what?
Do you want to bring her as a passenger?
Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah, because the dreadnought got finished, so this is like the big battleship with the armor plating, and she was a crew member on the other ship.
What was the other ship doing during this time?
Well, we discussed it a little bit. They needed some replacement crew members, which we didn't figure out, but once they had crew, they could be sent on a mission, and we didn't figure out what the mission would be either. You
I've
can-
always got transportation needs for my watchers.
But, like I was saying, you can add Junithu to this crew. There's no reason you can't steal crew from the other ship for this one for now, if you'd like.
I would like to keep her close.
Alright, I'll add her to the passenger list. Junithu the elf. Alright, so let me just mark off a couple more foods.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe she and I will go out hunting in the dark, or not in the dark, in the light.
Alright, do we need to make any more rolls while you're taking your long rest during the day? Also, so for Orin, do you have protection against the weather in your kit?
Yes, I've got a couple of different ways for that.
Because if you're doing that collecting during the hottest part of the day, it's going to be kind of exhausting if you're not protected in some way.
I've got a couple of. First, I've got that that water vial that as long as it's not magical thirst, it helps. No wait.
Yeah, that's the other thing. If you're active during the day, you're supposed to drink that extra gallon of water.
Right. But this would.
Also, I rolled for
Okay.
encounters and I didn't see anything. So, no monsters accost you during the night.
Here it is. Water elemental essence.
Hmm.
Gives advantage on saves to resist heat.
I think that's a consumable, though.
It is consumable. I haven't drunk it yet.
All right.
It's helps me. I've kept it. I could have gotten 10 gold for it, but I instead been keeping it just to help me with environmental
Yeah.
business.
Hey Ninja, there's a problem.
What's up?
For some reason, when I put these note cards in the bag, it changes them from the ones that have all those like next pages, and they're like blank now, and they turn into these things.
What the hell? Oh, when did that happen? Can I roll it back?
I guess so. At least some of the cards, like the Moraz Defiler and the extra equipment, I just took stuff from my achievement slot and the extra equipment slot. And then I don't know. Oh, and the Staff of Insects, like that had stuff just this game session. And I just put in there like 5-10 minutes ago.
Alright, let me hit the rewind.
Hey, I'll be back. I need to check in with something real quick.
Okay.
There, I did the maximum rewind, because we haven't really done much of anything on the table here, so hopefully that fixes it.
And it's weird, because not all the cards that I put in that bag did that. Like, there were, like, still 2 cards that had, like, their extra page thing. Okay, now this extra equipment thing went back to its normal thing, so that's fine. That's the first one. Now we can have the staff of stuff.
We can look that up
Mars
again.
Defiler.
Tabletop Simulator! Always being troublesome.
Feel was supposed to be on this card. It's just equipment.
Oh.
I tried to like organize them more, like have different names for the new cards.
Well, send me a DM with any clues like Staff of Insects that I can look up, and I can try to fetch the info from my notes.
Okay.
Whatever you can give me in text form that I can feed into the search. Moraz the Defiler loot, that one's probably an easy one for me to find. Loot in a wagon, that one's probably easy to find. Equipment, that's vague. I don't know what the hell that is.
Yeah, look.
Anyway.
The backpack one's probably not super important either. It's probably like miscellaneous garbage.
Hopefully. Yeah, I'd recommend moving everything to your online character sheet for
Yeah, I'm trying to get that stuff.
safety and security as a backup. And then Google could lose all their servers and all that stuff will just go poof. Who knows,
It
though?
wasn't a long time ago. It was like a couple weeks ago, a few weeks ago, that supposedly they got a million or several millions of like passwords leaked.
Yeah, I heard about that. That's worrisome. I'm a nobody, though, so I don't think anybody's trying to steal my shit. I'm probably just going to be on a database somewhere that hackers are selling. Just for data collection purposes. I don't know. If somebody's got something valuable, though, that could definitely make them open to getting their computer locked and people ransom their stuff. Mostly, like, people that run businesses get targeted by that, though. So, I don't know. I'd be very concerned if I ran a business and used a lot of Google. Anyway, day 3. So, the sun finally sets and the temperature dwindles. Day 3, the skies are clear. There's a light wind blowing from the east to the west, which is no good. It's not strong, but it's a counter wind, which would maybe slow you down just a little bit. Do you want to do your wind-powered 8th level spell?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Alright. Calling on the powers of nature, you command the winds to be more beneficial, blowing to the east instead of to the west.
Are these winds so light that if I increase the strength, it won't damage the sails? It'll increase their speed?
It would benefit you just a little bit.
I'll do that then. And this one will take a full 40 minutes to finish.
Ah, all right. It takes a while for the winds to go a full 180 degrees, so at first they're just blowing a little off and then a little more off and then maybe a 90-degree difference, and then eventually you've wrestled the wind around to the opposite direction it wanted to blow.
Hey guys, I gotta go for a bit with food, so I'll catch you guys in a while.
Sure.
Thank you.
Have a good dinner. All right. So,
Weather is very uncooperative today.
well, that was actually an easy day. You made good progress that day, and it wasn't too bad. Does anybody want to make any rolls when you go into your rest period at the end of the day? I don't know.
I'll go ahead and do or scavenge again. I'll try to find some more water. If there's any.
All right.
Nice.
19. You only find 2 cobra melons this time. Okay, so I have marked off the food, the wheat that your animals eat, the cank globules that your crew eats, and the water that everybody drinks. And I rolled for an encounter, and you didn't encounter anything during the long rest. Alright, the hottest part of the day goes by. Morg returns with his cobra melons. The sun begins to set, so it's no longer so brutal, and your crew's able to unfurl the sails, and you're setting off on day 4. Okay, day 4 starts out alright, but you notice in the distance that there's just all black along the horizon, punctuated occasionally by flashes of light. Alright,
Storm?
Morg, you can see a terrible storm coming your way. It's carrying huge amounts of dust. You can even see dust tornadoes. You have a little time before it gets here. Do you want to start casting your control weather?
Yeah, I'm gonna start doing that. If it's a full-on storm, it's only gonna go down to a gale. So I still recommend to the party that we should go anchor, hunker down somewhere close to a, I don't know, any kind of mountain or something to brace the winds off of our ship.
Yeah.
We don't want to sail in that at all. But it will damper it at least a little bit. Destroy our ship as definitely that much.
Alright. You use your spells to protect the ship, and you anchor it down in the best spot that you can find before the storm hits. So, I'm going to do a roll for the crew. Alright. So,
Can I throw some bardic inspiration to help the crew go through that? When we're done?
you're not a bard. What are you talking about? Alright. You pray for them. That's fine. It would help, because they rolled like a 5.
Only guidance got stronger when you level.
Yeah, with my charisma, they would be like, oh my god.
They've got skills, so they're at about a 10 now, but guidance would add to that for sure. What'd you get on the roll?
Bardic inspiration?
Yeah. Oh, well, that's not good. All right. So the duration of the storm is 4 hours that you have to stay hunkered down before the worst of it passes. All right. So you've only managed to reduce it to gale. After the storm passes, it reduces further. You can probably travel now, but you're going to travel for like 8 hours instead of 12. So I'm gonna note 8 hours instead of 12. Alright, so you might have gotten there today if not for the storm. But you're gonna have to park at the end of that 8 hours, and the heat of the day makes your crew pretty exhausted, and they're a little bit frazzled from the bad storm that they had to weather. So they're looking forward to a good cactus meal. Oh, you are almost at a cactus.
We're almost at our first like stop destination to refill stuff, right?
You are getting pretty close. Let me check my map here. Alright, so you started at Tier, and then you traveled for one... Let's see, this is Dredge here. Tier 1, 2, 3, 4. Do you want to stop in Rom to resupply?
Rom is the super lawless place that they're having a civil war? Or?
There is a civil war happening in Rom. The major merchant houses are all vying for control in absence of the Sorcerer King. So there's a power vacuum, and there's a lot of infighting between the different gangs in town. But it is still a city, and there's still a lot of business to be had in town. If you need to buy things, you can buy things. A town run by merchants, they're trying to sell things, and they would be happy to have your business. They're fighting each other, not the people that are doing trade.
I'm gonna just go in to buy whatever barrels of food they got.
Alright. Alright, item shops. Trade.
I'm gonna take the
Rom.
magic carpet down off the airship.
So when you get to Rom, it seems like the price of vegetables are about the same.
Not the price of eggs.
Price of wheat is about the same.
Price of eggs, oh no.
Oh yeah, that reminds me, your ship produces a couple eggs per day. I should add that. So let's see, 4 more Kank globules. That's going to be at 16 now. Alright. So, yeah, it looks like prices are about the same in ROM as they were back in Tier. I don't see anything that's... I don't know, if you have any weird purchases, I'll look it up. But, so out of the things that you already have, do you just want to, like, resupply some? Do you want to do, like, 100 cactus for a gold?
Sounds good.
Okay. You spend 1 gold buying up a bunch of delicious cactus. Your wheat's probably still good. Your water's probably still good. So that's probably another couple days worth of food at least. Almost 3 days worth of food there. right.
How much further is the next stop that we're going to, or is Kern the next stop?
You're almost there. This is like right at the tail end of your trip. So this actually happens like super early. You had to detour a little bit to get over to Rom, and then you had to do some shopping. So that's going to eat into the number of hours that you can travel during the day. But then you continue on your way until you have to camp. So that'll be the camp at the end of day 4 going into the morning of day 5. You're down to 49 wheat for the animals. Your crew eats a whole bunch of veggie.
The wheat is only for the tanks, or we also have Crowdville on the ship too? Do we need more wheat then?
The Erdlu and Kanks are eating the wheat. So they're just munching on grain down in the hold, and then the crew is eating the delicious cactus or the Kank globules, sort of alternating between them so they don't get too bored. So you're down to 71 cactus.
Do they have wheat for purchase here?
Yeah. It would cost 2 gold to buy 100.
Okay. I buy it.
Your crew can eat that too, in a pinch. Like, Junithu could grind it up, turn it into delicious bread, maybe use a Kank globule to honey it. Alright, the crew satisfied. Does anybody want to make rolls? Will's not here, so he's resting in the hold, hanging out with Junithu while she bakes her bread.
What's the roll for?
What's up?
What's the roll for again?
So, you are taking your 8-hour rest period during the worst heat of the day. So, during those 8 hours, while resting, the party can do light activity. One of those light activity things that you can do is to roll a little survival check to search around the airship while it's parked and see if you can find something tasty to eat or drink. If you'd like to make a wisdom survival check. There's other kinds of rolls that you could make, depending on what you want to do.
What other stuff is there?
You could keep watch in case monsters want to attack during the night. You could scout around, see if you can find anything interesting in the area.
Guess I'll do that.
Alright, so scouting is an intelligence investigation check. You might find such things as creatures waiting in ambush, favorable paths, or hidden locations.
Right, where is it? Investigation.
Yep, int investigate.
I got 15.
15. Alright. Alright. In your investigation, you notice some odd ruins poking up out of the desert. Are you on your flying carpet?
Yes.
Alright, so you approach the ruins on your flying carpet. You're going to notice when you get closer that there's a deep pit here.
Yeah, I guess I'll investigate the pit.
Alright. You investigate the pit. It's a 20-foot deep pit. You get down to the bottom of it. It looks like it might have been a basement of some kind at one point. Inside, it looks like there's some old bones. An adventurer had a mishap, fell into the basement, broke a leg, and died. Checking the body, you find a little bit of treasure, 9 silver, 22 ceramic pieces. I'll put that in the Discord. 9 silver pieces, 22 ceramic pieces, if you want to add that to your sheet.
I'm going.
It doesn't look like there's much else to find here. Might have been a house at one point. Maybe from another age. Not much of it left now. The weathering of the sand has not left much.
Well, bury what's left of it.
Alright. You take the remains, you bury them. It takes a couple hours, you return to the airship, finish your rest. Alright, we're into day 5. The sun sets. Day 5 is a windy day. The wind is severe, coming from the northwest, blowing to the southeast. This is a unfavorable wind. You're trying to go north. Alright. Morgue. The winds are unfavorable and strong. Do you want to throw your spell at it?
You said favorable and strong?
Unfavorable and strong.
Like strong enough to damage the ship?
Yeah, severe wind. 29 miles per hour.
I'll be right back.
I will camp in the wind and
I'll use the bathroom.
Alright. Alright, calling on the powers of nature, you wrestle the wind. It's not as drastic a change. How long does it take?
50 minutes.
50 minutes. Alright, the maximum time. Alright, the wind dwindles. 19, 18, 15 miles per hour. Everybody's clothing stops flapping in the breeze quite as strongly. And it's blowing in the right direction to fill your sails. Alright, you travel off the map. So you are no longer on the Tablelands map. You are now on this map here. I'm going to grab this airship figure and I'm going to plop it down right here. Alright. We're in it now. What time is it? 10:38? We still got a little time. Alright, you've arrived in the Kern region. Congratulations. It's been a long trip, but you can see the Sea of Silt. And right here by the Sea of Silt, there's a structure. And when you look down from your airship, you can see this structure in the distance is completely surrounded by mud flats and silt. And there's a whole bunch of banyan trees in rows, neat rows, like an orchard of silt-resistant, salt-resistant trees that extend out from a structure. There's tall walls with guard towers conveniently located at each of the corners. Your elevated position allows you to see into the building where there are some fields and many buildings, but the buildings, they don't look to be of high quality. They seem to be sort of very basic structures. Maybe like for poor or slaves. And centrally located within the walls of the compound, there's a towering structure decorated with the symbols of Dradge. So this is a Dradge location. This is the town of Ket, the village of Ket. That's what Korganard is going to say. Korganard tells you that The Dragis are an unkind people. They take many slaves.
That the current takes many slaves?
So, Ket is a village that belongs to Draj. Draj is owned by the Sorcerer King Tektut Title. And Tektut Title loves to take slaves. And so this is a village of slaves. There are many Draggy war parties that are guarding these slaves in the fields and making them work. So, what does the party want to do? You can see this structure off in the distance. Do you wish to approach it? Or do you wish to bypass the city of Ket? Yeah. We're missing some people. Krias. Earth to Krias. Well, we know that Will had to go and eat, so he's going to come back. I don't know what happened to Taro. Well, maybe we should take a 5-minute break.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll get some ice for my drink. I'll be back in a bit.
Wait. You got Chris? Yeah, okay. Maybe go into go take a 5-minute break. He was asking if we wanted to go into Ket, which is a drag place controlled by the Kitpe and the slaves being forced to work by drag soldiers or whatever. We're over here in the bottom part of the map. Yep.
Where are we heading to?
We're heading to Kirk. So it's still quite a ways away. We already refilled
What do you guys think?
the other.
Is Ket just a village or like a camp?
I think Ninja described it as a village.
We could try to liberate some of
Wasn't technically what some of the, like one of the sorcerer kings that was harassing us a while ago?
yeah, that's also. I don't want to create more chaos.
I was wondering if Corrigan might have anything to say that we need to pick up.
Corganonder is, ultimately good.
Alright, I'm back. Went on a food break. Grabbed some food. Getting some caffeine. We're still missing Taro, huh? Let me send him a message. At Taro. Where did you go? Bathroom break. That explains that. John32456 says, "Hey, your energy is incredible. I'd love to support you as a fan. Join your community and connect on your next broadcast. Add me on Discord." We have a fan, guys.
Oh, one fan.
Cool. They want to join our Discord. Maybe they want to play.
Making people join us. Join the game.
It's a tall order joining an 18th level campaign, though. Building an 18th level character from scratch is sort of daunting.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's fine. It's actually kind of fun, you might say.
The only thing is just like, how would you give them starting gear
Mm-hmm.
since everybody has like magical equipment and stuff?
Well, I said basically at 18th level you could have whatever you want. You know, within reason.
Did Chris come back?
I don't know. Chris? Earth to Chris?
When you were gone, he started talking for a little bit.
Oh. Well, the two of you that are here, what do you think? What do you want to do here? Do you want to... I guess like the main options, if we're doing it binary, are do you interact with Ket or do you bypass Ket? You can keep going and ignore it completely because you are not friendly with Dredge. Which means if you go down there to do diplomacy, they're probably not going to be the most friendly group of people to talk to.
How big of a place is that?
It looks like a sizable village. You can just...
Who could destroy with 2 earthquakes?
You can see hundreds of people down there. Well, You could, but keep in mind these are mostly slaves, and they didn't want to be here. They're slaves. They have to. If they don't work in these fields, then the warriors of Dradge will finish them off.
I think the Terror would say yes. We go.
Yeah, I wish he was here, because he's usually the one that wants to do diplomacy, and I also wish that Will was here, because Orin hates slavery
Yeah.
and wants to...
We're not good with slavery either.
And Orin wants to undermine Dradge and eventually overthrow it. So if Skywill was here, I think what he would say is that he wants to go down and mess with them and do some damage.
I think we're all in the same page on that.
You think so?
Yeah. I
Okay.
just wonder if Corgard feels like this is a smart
Yeah.
move, or if he's just like,
No.
we're trying to get the curve, we're not trying to like do things. I feel bad for Corgard. He's getting built up into our attack all the sorcerer king's antics.
Corganard is lawful good. He's lawful good, so he would want to do diplomacy and not just, ambush. I think he would feel pretty bad about an ambush. If he just drop an earthquake on this town and kill a bunch of innocent people, he's not going to be happy about that.
Yeah, that was not my plan.
That would be that would be the extreme bad way to do it, but effective, for sure. It would disrupt the town and damage the walls.
Oh, village, right? They have walls?
They do, because it is a military village that has a lot of slaves. The walls might be to keep slaves in more than to keep others out.
I don't even know how you would negotiate with people that just have strict military orders to make slaves work. Like, would you offer them to free slaves?
That's a good question. You want to think about this before you go in there, if you go in there.
I feel like there is not a negotiation thing with war people.
You might only be able to make demands, like military demands, which would probably be considered an act of war. The question is,
Far away from home. It would be hard to get back home. Unless, I don't know. I don't know if these slaves can really be like training people after they see them.
usually NPC slaves are like below the level of a player character. Like level 1 maybe. Easily killed one hit dice creatures.
But they can be leveled up through training?
Yeah.
Or no?
Well, if you remember, the armies of Tyr weren't that impressive. If you put them in leather armor and gave them an obsidian spear, that would basically be the army of Tyr right there. Bunch of one hit dice scrubs going to war.
They kind of just need to spread out so they don't get hit by AoEs, and then charge the like mages in the enemy sorcerer team. This is the
Mm-hmm. By now, they've probably noticed your airship. You're just sort of hovering around their little town, maybe circling it.
Are these war parties like they're like hordes of enemies?
Yeah, everything on the board is a horde. With a couple of exceptions.
That kind of that would be daily stuff.
Well, if you're going to try to liberate the town, it's going to be a fairly epic battle. Korganard will caution you that this green young crew is not probably not going to survive a pitched battle with armies of draggy war party people and maybe a Templar. There's bound to be a Templar down there as well. So he would recommend if you're going to go in, you might want to go in on the flying carpet and not with the airship. As long as the airship stays out of range, they can't do anything bad to it.
Yeah, that is a good recommendation. Very much thinking myself.
And as a lawful good character, he suggests if you plan to liberate the city, at least give him the option of surrender.
Yeah, but I'd probably still do that through like a sneak attack on a High Templar, weaken them a bunch, and then ask them for demands while they're still alive,
Yeah.
rather than asking them while they're at full power, and then them being likely to say no.
So I guess your strategy would be fly over the wall, go directly for the fortress in the middle.
That would probably be my bet. Blow up their big fortress. Looks important. Probably important people in it.
Not a bad strategy. It could work.
Lauren, do you have an extra big fireball for a building that size? How big is that building?
That place is very, very big and very tough. I don't think any spell, except for maybe like the super high level ones, would be able to encompass the entire building.
What happens if a dragon lands on it?
You'll notice a lot of it is built into a plateau, and so a lot of it is within the plateau, within the stone, carved into the rock. So it's a fairly heavily fortified building. The wooden structure on top of the plateau, it's more symbolic and decorative. You could probably do a lot of damage to that, but the inner structure, like the secure part of the fortress underneath, would be hard to get at without going inside.
Oh, there's like a gaping. Okay.
There's really only two ways to go in there. You could go in through the building and then down into the structure, or you could go in from the front into the structure and then up to the building.
Well, it's a little tough. It's just the two of us.
Taro's taking the longest bathroom break.
Shooting his guts or something.
Or something. Yep. He's probably listening in on the stream. Hey, I resemble that remark. Well, so far, it sounds like you have a pretty effective plan. I'm gonna guess that Skywill, Orin Cyrillus, is going to encourage liberating the town, freeing the slaves, upsetting trade with Dradge. But each one of the guards on the map there is a horde. probably 12 guards per horde.
The small camp on the left.
Yeah, it's the leftern one. Western one, I guess.
One is slave, no?
Yeah. That's the complication. Like, there's so many slaves mixed in there that a lot of big spells run the risk of harming one of the innocents there, and Korganard wouldn't be happy with that, and probably neither would Taro. Taro's not here, but I imagine he would suggest trying to use diplomacy and talk the head of town into giving up.
Would there be a way maybe for Orin to poison the guards' food?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to say that the guards are aware. They can see the airship. So they're probably on high alert. But Orin's very stealthy. He might be able to get in and do something.
That's what I'd say is like for Orin to go and take a look at him first. That's the beginning of the
All right.
And on our side, like we don't have to show any aggression or anything yet.
We're not going in that?
Well, we can see what Orin can do by sneaking in first. And then after that, like if there's if you can assist with what we want to do, or you know, we go from there.
Oh, the gun extension is not sensitive to exactly speed.
Minute bathroom break. Hurry up, Taro.
You know,
Taro.
Hurt Taro.
Oh,
Hurt Taro.
he was there. Welcome back.
I just sat down.
All right, so let me get your feedback on this situation. I'll explain it quickly. So you arrive at the village of Ket, which belongs to the Sorcerer King of Draj. You can see that the Draj war parties are guarding many slaves who are working the fields. So this town is entirely a military town in order to force slaves to produce food for the city of Draj. I'm assuming that Skywill, who wants to undermine the Sorcerer King of Draj, would encourage an attack to disrupt the food supply of Draj. However, Korganard cautions that this could cause war. This is a war crime, and diplomacy might be a better option. Although he is opposed to slavery, but slavery is the law of the land in most city-states, and if this is part of Draj, slavery is the law of Draj. So it's really up to you how you want to approach the situation. Others have suggested sending Will in to poison somebody, or making an assault on the castle suddenly, like shock and awe, to take out the leader, and then to threaten the rest to surrender, which is a pretty viable strategy, I think. But what does Ringsight think? You can see that there are many innocent slaves that could be caught as collateral damage in the attack. You can see that there are many hardened warriors of Draj with their hook spears ready to attack, spread out throughout the fields and the forests here. You'd be aware. Korganard would mention that there's definitely a Templar of Drage here, probably a powerful one if they're ruling over a town this size. So, you'd have to take out at least one high-level Defiler wizard.
What? It seems we're going to need a bit of espionage.
Alright.
What would the winged elephants do?
Well, the Winged Elephant cares about freedom, and slavery is bad. So the Winged Elephant would like you to free the slaves. But that doesn't give you many clues as to how to go about it.
Here's an idea. Now, what time of the day is it?
You arrive here as the sun is rising. It's pretty early in the morning.
Okay, so some people might still be asleep.
No, they get up really early. They force the slaves up at the crack of dawn. You can see they're just entering the fields now.
But is the king up?
Yeah, maybe not. You can't actually see inside the main fortress. You just know that the main fortress is there. It's got an ornate palace on top of it, fit for a Templar.
I'm gonna try to take on winged form and break into his... But not break in like that, like use the dream orb in winged form to fly over there and peek into his brain.
Alright, so you are going to lay down, go to sleep with your Orb of Dreams, and try to enter the dream of the Templar.
What's going on in that head of his? Any dark secrets?
Alright. You enter the mind of a Templar. You dig around a little bit. In his dream, he stands upon his tower, looking down on his fields with pride. He sees the waving fields of grain, and in the distance the trees with their fruits, and he knows that the warriors of Drage will feed well on this bountiful harvest, for he is he who makes things sprout. Tlayloch, High Templar of Drage, servant of the Sorcerer King of Drage, Tektut Title. And he thinks about the great powers that his master has bestowed upon him, and how his warriors dominate the weak slaves and put them to good use, turning this barren land into a fertile field.
What do my other party members think about what we should do with this situation, specifically?
Could always attempt smacking some of the lackeys with my rod, and then going in, seeing the leader, and commanding him with a rod to free the slaves. I don't know if that would work.
An interesting gambit.
And Moses.
But if he free my people, let my people go. But yeah, if they make the wisdom saving throw, then it would definitely be a fight after that.
My typical way of thinking is control through chaos is what I do when I play Assassin's Creed and Shadow of Mordor. Just create enough random problems that through the chaos we can manufacture a situation where it's like, no, we weren't like really trying to interfere, but you know, he just did the thing, and you know, we had to kill him. You know, it's not really a choice on our part. Just make this situation very convoluted to win, is my thinking. So given that,
DC 18 Wisdom save versus Charm. With advantage if in combat.
Let me think. I'm looking at my rituals. So, how many guards seem to be around here?
Hundreds.
Oh, how many slaves are there?
Also hundreds.
If the slaves rose up, how badly would that go?
Warriors of Dradge are way more skilled than the average slave. I don't think they would do well with no equipment.
All the farming equipment.
Yeah, they might have some hoes or something, but the warriors of Dradge are well known for using these hook spears attached to ropes. They'll just throw it, it'll stick into your thigh, and then they'll yank you off your feet with a trip attack at distance. And once you're prone, then they'll run in and they're dual wielding with the spear part of the hook spear and with a sword, and they can just run in and hit you like repeatedly to batter you down. So they're fairly dangerous compared to a peasant with a simple farm implement.
I have a plan. How about I use my speaky powers to shuffle around a bunch of their gear, so that's like, hey, why do you have my whatever it is? Like a mage hand telekinesis.
It probably wouldn't be effective because you'd have to do it to so many hundreds of people.
It stumps. I don't want to just get out everyone and attack a tier and say, well, we gotta be smart about this. Perhaps illusions? Do we have any illusions?
I think that's a really type.
Soul used to be able to do it.
Yeah, he was
Hey, what kind of spells do you have?
Me? Wait, what?
Yeah, what kind of spells do you get?
Sort of naturey things. I can like make thorns. I can do some stuff with like fire, some water things, with the polymorph stuff. And right now I have foresight. That's pretty good at giving people advantage on everything, and enemies are disadvantage on them. Oh, I have Geos. That sort of is like a mind control-y thing.
Yep. Powerful one too.
Let's see, what is that pretty good? Magical command on a creature within range, forcing it to carry out some service or refrain from action. They could just choose to, even if they get hit with a spell though, they could technically just ignore the command and just take 5d10 damage. And that damage only happens once a day, so then the rest of the day they could just ignore my commands. So I don't know how that, to me that doesn't actually sound that powerful.
It's powerful if you're some random NPC level 5 git.
Yeah, I mean, getting somebody to perform a service for you can be pretty useful when you just need
It's
to.
only good if they're also in the same town because it's supposed to last for 30 days. But since we're not here forever, like this is just a stop. We're trying to get.
You could do some interesting things with it, though. Like, you could find somebody and you could say, "You're my spy now. I want you to report everything that you hear while you're in there for 30 days," and then they'll come back with all sorts of secret information.
Oh, wait, hang on. We did come here for something gradually. What was the point of this mission?
You are traveling to the city of Kern, where Korganard says his mentor lives. His mentor has asked that the envoys of Tyr come to Kern in order for negotiation on a trade and alliance. And all of this is good stuff, and Korganard encourages everybody to do it. So That's where you're headed. This is along the way. This is Dradge territory at the southern end of Kern. I don't know if you're looking at the...
Summoning spells.
Are you looking at the stream?
Could.
Sorry.
Alternatively, we could ignore this for now, go straight to Kern, and then on our way back south, if we are, I suppose we would be going back to here at some point. We could make up our minds about that later when, I don't know, when Will comes back or whatever.
Alright, I like that idea.
Yeah.
Alright,
Okay. Because
so...
if Will was here, I could just ask him to go run around being stealthy.
Yeah, sneaking around and scouting is a good idea. You would want to do that. Alright, so, using our time well, let's bypass Ket for now. I did want to make you aware of Ket, though. Ket is important to Dradge, so if Will does want to hurt Dradge in a big bad way, this is a potential target for him. And also, it's...
Tick-tock delay on the allies to enemy table.
Oh, he's awful. He loves slavery. Everything he does is about getting more slaves.
I mean, so does Nibane, I assume.
Nibane has softened and has become less of a creep. Tekta Title, though, he is a straight-up Aztec demigod who likes to do a lot of human sacrifice. It's all around bad.
Sacrifice children too?
Probably not. I think, like...
Sounds unhelpful.
I think you get more out of a sacrifice if the person you're sacrificing has higher hit dice, so he would probably wait. Killing a baby is not efficient. He'll wait. He's immortal, so he can just wait until they're, like a 15th level something, and then kill them, and then get more out of it. Alright, so, flying past the city of Ket. Let's see, it's still early morning, and the sun is coming up, and it's getting really hot. And so, your usual routine is to bring the airship down and drop anchor. However, as you're getting ready to do that, you notice that there's some ruins in the distance. And they're not small, these are sizable ruins, and they don't look that ruined, like maybe recently abandoned. So, while you're camping, do you wish to investigate the ruins?
Maybe a roll investigate?
I have to roll something. Give me a moment. Where's my dice at? My dice. D10. That's a 10. Alright. So, you approach the ruins. Do you want to do anything in particular? Do you want to send in Will to scout?
What are the... How imposing are these ruins?
Roll a perception check.
What's the level of spookitude we're dealing with? Oh, that could have been better.
Yeah, 17 is pretty good. 26. Alright. Looking at the building, you can tell that it's a fortified structure like many of the forts that you've seen, like Fort Iron near Tyr. It looks like the kind of fort that a merchant house would set up, but you don't see any lights, you don't see any guards. So, part of the wall is damaged. It looks to be a ruin, but maybe at one point it was a merchant house's little fortress. This building would be on the extreme borderland of Dradge. This is like the farthest reaches of the Dradge Empire.
We can eat stuff in drag. And this place is technically free. And give it away.
Yeah.
This feels like a trap. This feels like a setup, a situation he contrives when you think you can like take from his stuff, and then he just shows. Like he doesn't show up himself, but he's got like secret agents down there.
I'm gonna say Will scouts. Will scouts and finds that there's no monsters inside. He comes back and reports that the place is burned out. Looks like a fire.
Oh yeah. How old?
Yeah, probably not recent. There's a lot of dust in there, built up in the corners.
Can I use my my special power to bring out of the ash what happened in the past when it burned down?
Sure. Alright. You go around to piles of ash, casting your spell. Yeah, there's some dead bodies. A lot of burnt materials. Doing the rewind on it, it seems as if this was definitely used by merchants at one point. But it looks like there was a battle. Some people died. But it looks like different people. Not always the same kinds of armor, not the same kinds of outfit, not the same symbols. It's probably been held by different people at different times. But whoever had it in the past lost interest in maintaining this place, and it's just gone to ruin over at least a period of years, you would guess. But let's see. Yeah, but nothing. Okay. Does anybody want to make any other rolls here?
I guess it would be investigations.
We just make another accurate perception check while inside. Keeping around, there's nothing keeping around. Another 26.
Ah. So, let's say you are exploring one of the towers or walking along the wall of the fort. With your excellent perception, you can see some movement in the distance outside the fort. You can see that there is a pod of red silt horrors, and they are traveling from Silt Lake to the west to the Sea of Silt, where there's like a little tributary that opens into it. And you can see this pod of silt horrors sort of slithering across the sand dunes. These are red silt horrors that don't go under the ground, but they travel on the surface just by wiggling their tentacles furiously. And they leave a whole bunch of weird snake-like trails in the sand as they wiggle along. So you're able to watch them just sort of in a line travel to the sea. But they don't come close enough to the fort to matter. I rolled an encounter and they're not here. They're elsewhere. Did you want to roll and investigate?
I'm not really good at that.
Anyone?
It would be Oren.
Yeah, Will rolls a 16. He finds some tracks. These are slithery tentacle tracks. If you've mentioned the red silt horrors to him, he will say, yeah, that tracks. Get it? Tracks. So he...
That jokes, you know.
So he thinks that the red silt horrors sometimes come into the fort, but they're not here now.
Any like significant, like, I don't know, religious or signification for this site?
Nah. All you see around is broken crates, empty barrels, dusty old buildings. It seems as if maybe this place has been looted a time or two. Maybe bandits have kicked in a couple doors. Nothing has latches. Most of the buildings are at least 80% burned. There might be a standing entrance here or there, part of a wall there. Anyway, the night goes uneventfully. I'm going to mark off some more food and drink.
No, if there's anything else, we probably should just keep on going. Look around for these tentacle creatures.
Let's see, 44 from 71.
Possibly this was like a border fort for the region of Nebraska.
Yeah. All right, you've used up 25% of your water supply. Huzzah.
Huzzah, that sounds good.
And your ship hasn't taken any damage, so your supplies haven't been used. You still have plenty of food and water. All right, so after a long, hot day, making camp in these old ruins and watching the pods of silt horrors as they go by, the sun eventually sets, and you're able to continue on your journey. And the weather is favorable, and you're able to approach the next town, which Korganart is going to tell you is a friendly town known as Azith's Rest, which is this town on the right. However, when you get to the town, you'll notice that there's something going on. The front of the town is on fire, and a tremendous amount of damage has been done to the front gate, and it seems as if there's a legion of guards that are furiously raining attacks down on a siege. There's a horde of zombies with heavy weapons trying to sunder the crap out of the gate. There are a whole bunch of Defiler knights waiting to siege through or surge through the broken gate when it's battered down. There's a berserk gang of giants that are slamming their maces into the wall trying to break it. And the rooftops are crawling with a variety of cloaked men watching. Some are singing the praises of Densis the Ever-Living. So there is a 20-foot tall Defiler casting powerful waves of magic from his body as his eyes glow with green energy. The ground quakes under his feet, and he's hurling lightning bolts asunder left and right, intimidating the defenders of the town, commanding them to surrender to the mighty Densis, the Ever-Living. Alright, the situation seems tense. The airship approaches the town as it is under siege. What would the party like to do?
Check the fuck out of them.
Alright.
Yeah, I don't know what his deal is, but when the evil lich loudly declares his intention to have all bow before him, usually the correct thing to do is kill the evil lich.
Though I'll try to keep the ship a little far away.
Yeah, you can go in on the flying carpet.
So I need the ship to help us out of this situation. This guy's dangerous.
Can't the airship weapons kind of reach like, I don't know, 300 some feet? With ballistics on there, our range.
Your weapons have a range of ballista 900, mangonel 200.
Yeah, the ballistics is like a
Well, they can attack from a distance while we go down, and I'm gonna go down. And blast the shit out of them.
Let's get on the magic carpet, boys.
You can try to take me.
I'm setting up the initiative. Did anybody's initiative change from what it was? I didn't update anything when you gained a level. Did anybody get dex?
My dex went down because I turned all, so now it's 0.
0. Alright. You went from 2 to 0, huh?
Wait, Do I supposed to get an initiative from something? Or I think I have an equipment.
Well, I'll put it at 1. You probably do have an equipment.
Oh, no, I also got rid of that. So the
Alright. I'll mark it. Down to
I gave you
0.
Another +1 initiative with the required light armor, but I changed that with the kit and armor bit. I'll give you +7. So there's 0.
Almost ready. Give me a moment. Wait, that's not right. I need one more. As it's rest. Retired. Oh, I see what you mean. Yep, I can get rid of this one, and I can get rid of this one. Alright. So, what was the final verdict? Do you want to attempt to use the ballistas at range, or do you want to go in on the flying carpet?
I'm going
Why
in
not
flank.
both?
Yeah, I just have the people on board that are like our hired people use the ballistas, and we're gonna go on the carpet.
Both. Alright, interesting. Let me add an initiative for them.
I don't know if getting them close enough to use the mangonel is good. I don't know what kind of thing, how far these guys got reach on them. Keeping them at 90 feet, 200 feet.
There's not much I can do shut down on this field. Actually, I don't really know if there's any skills I can do.
Unless they have like stealth sniper stuff.
I'll do like a mega like archer.
Keep in mind, all defilers can use meta magic, so they can double all spell ranges.
Unless it's just like those super big, like mile spells, like earthquake or something.
Yeah, big ones.
But those don't really like target something in the air.
Earthquake is gonna do a lot of damage to him.
Wait, why would you?
This is gonna be a long fight then, Ninja.
Yeah, probably.
We want to take this over next game.
Getting tired? 11:38. Yeah, we are getting close. Just checking over my notes for a second. Alright, so I have the town units here. But what I actually need is the enemy units, which are way down here.
Is this all like water clerics in this town?
Azith's Rest has water and earth clerics as its major religions, yeah. You'll notice there's a lot of pools.
Stone.
Yep. Basically, the structure is made by the earth clerics, and then the water is maintained by the priestesses of the pools. They have a pretty good thing going. The town is very efficiently run. Azith's Rest is a subsidiary, like a client village of Kern, and it is owned by Trade House Azith, which is a new merchant house you haven't dealt with before. And they have their own shop page. So if you can defeat the siege, then you can use the shops that I added to the end of the shop list for this town. Yeah. I'm gonna compile my notes so I have the enemies all on one page. That's gonna make things a little easier for next week.
Can you close the table?
Yep. All right. All right. Should be good to save. Thanks for watching out there in Twitch land. It's been fun. Thanks again to John32456, our biggest fan.